What's up, everybody? I I almost forgot to do this video. I forgot to do a video last night, and I almost forgot to do it this night. It's 11:13 p.m. Um, so, just to go over how the day went, I kind of just worked. Kind of locked in on work. I was doing a lot of research. I'm still trying to figure out this whole business thing. I've been at it for a while, so still trying to figure it out. But things are going great. The gym today sucked because the thermostat broke, and I was like getting tired with weights that I was so I'm so used to. Like being tired on weights you're really used to is kind of like it was discouraging at first. And I was like, why am I screwing up so bad? And then I thought about it. I'm like, why is it so hot in here? So, yeah, that was rough. But other than that, everything went well today. Um, I wanted to talk about today part of the strategy that I'm employing that one of my priests during confession, one of my priests made a really good point is that when we, when we feel this urge, when we feel this, obviously there's different parts to it of the brain where it's like an addiction. If you look at it as an addiction, but aside from that, this desire to procreate is basically just something that I would describe as energy, creation energy. And obviously, procreation is a great act of creation, but there's other acts of creation out there. There's, you know, writing music, writing poetry, journal entries, doing research, reading books. There's plenty of ways to create. Obviously, we want to. We were made in the image of God. We want to create. We want to, you know, yeah, we want to create things. And one of the greatest acts of creation is creating children. But if we're not able to do that, we have all this energy and we don't use it and it's all pent up, and then we start reaching for other things, and those things may be disorderly, such as pornography, such as, self-gratification, all of that stuff. So my priest mentioned that, and he had a point. I when I'm not, it usually happens when I'm bored, which means I'm not exercising creative energy. And when I'm, just scrolling through YouTube or looking through social media, I'm not creating anything. I'm more actually consuming, right? And so when I think about that, when I think about this desire for procreation, it's also a desire to create. And I realized that if I don't create something, if I don't have a hobby where I can express and exercise that creative energy, then I'm going to start reaching for, I'm going to start reaching for something else. And that ends up being pornography. And so basically what my priest told me to do was get a hobby. And one of my hobbies right now, I suppose, is fighting, is Muay Thai. And I'm a little bit injured right now, which means I can't really do it. But it's also hard. I go to the gym, I do Muay Thai, I do a lot of physical stuff, but that doesn't last a long time because eventually I'll get tired, right? I go to the gym for an hour and a half, but there's way more hours during the day. I train Muay Thai whenever I've trained Muay Thai. It's usually just for an hour. So I'm trying to, I guess, experiment with different creative outlets. And I'm not sure which one I want to pursue. I will say this, my business is keeping me busy. That's why I've been locking in on my business a lot more, is because it is a creative outlet. You know, I have to think about ads, think about ways to sell. Um, so I've been leaning on that, and that really helped today because I spent a long time just locked in on my business. So yeah, yeah, I'm thankful for that. So if you've got, if you find a lot of time on your hands, if you're not exercising creativity, you find yourself consuming. Because, one of my things that I'm sure, for the longtime viewers, I think one of my advice was like, hey, you know, if you have to play video games, it's not productive, but play video games if you have to, because it's better than looking at pornography. But now I'm gonna rescind that and say, do something creative. You know, create something that nobody else has thought of, and even if actually don't even think about that, right? Just create something. Who cares if it's something that somebody else thought of, right? Don't even think about that. Don't even think about, oh, who's already made this. Just make something, right? From and there you can figure stuff out. You can exercise your creative energy, and make sure it's something that you're passionate about. Make sure it's something that you deeply enjoy. Because I enjoy fighting. I really enjoy fighting. I also enjoy, going to the gym. I enjoy physical stuff. Obviously, it doesn't last a long time, but I also freaking enjoy my business. I enjoy working at it. I enjoy trying to figure it out. It's like a puzzle to solve. And yeah, yeah. That's I usually don't give. I haven't given advice in a while, so that's my advice. Do something creative. Have an outlet for your creative energy, or um, I don't know. I've or don't or don't. But that's my advice for today for everybody else. Other than that, the rest of the day went great. So let's get to your comments. Mike, how am I doing? Still pouring for you. 10.5 years. Dude, that's how much. Actually, no, that's not how long I've been struggling with it. I've struggled with it longer than that, but 10.5 years. Profoundly celibate and retentive for 7.5 years. Very happily single. Good for you, man. And fully arrived, fixed for life, financial success. Wow. Long-term investments and a bidding war for a merger. Nice. Yeah, my investments are going pretty well too. I'm just wondering when they'll crash again. But that's how the market goes. Praise the Lord for all of it. It's old times. It's like old times when you're back on YouTube and back on my prayer list. Appreciate it, man. I could always use prayers for any of you out there that are also Christians and Catholics or even or Eastern Orthodox. Give me some prayers. Send some prayers up for your boy. Suggestions. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Keep getting back up. Yeah, amen to that. Keep it until you're right, which will happen in due time. Yeah, there's something about hope that, it's so easy to give up hope. It's so easy, especially for me. I've been addicted to this thing for 20 years. It's so easy. And it's happened to me before where I've been like, am I ever really going to kick this thing? But, um, Christ said, be of good cheer, I've overcome the world. He's overcome the sin already. And so there will come a day, even if this lasts my entire life, there will come a day when, whether it's in my life or the life after, that this won't be a problem. So at the end of the day, I'll win because of God, because of Jesus Christ. So holding on to that hope. Urges are natural hormonal reality. Parents have thought that you have to fight having urges. Urges are natural hormonal reality of being male. Fighting them only makes you weak. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. Fighting the urges, I guess it's fighting the addiction, but understanding urges. That's why I said early in this video, it's creative energy. And when I'm locked in on creating something, I find myself not really giving into, you know, all the bad things. Like today when I was locked in on my business and so focused on creating something that could make me some money. Um, yeah, yeah. It was a great way to channel all of it. So, good point. Try to learn and to acknowledge and observe, even as you do something else in the past. True, that is true. Um, a lot of people tend to, you know, I will say this. I did struggle with this. You know, people said, "Oh yeah, get up and walk around, go for a walk, do some push-ups, all of that stuff." But it didn't really address the energy. I would say, like, I would feel the anxiety would come up. I would feel like elevated. My heart is racing and stuff like that. And then I would go on a walk, and then I would go uh, do push-ups. And I would say I think it's because I've struggled with it for so long and it's like in my brain that that anxiety lasts a long time for me. For me, this uncomfortable feeling and the heart racing and the tight chest, like it's I've white knuckled it for like a long time. Like it would last a long time. And it was very uncomfortable, and it wouldn't end unless I relapsed. And so I'm kind of going with a new strategy. If it works for everybody else, great. It doesn't work for me because it like at one time it lasted like a half a day, and it was so uncomfortable. I ended up relapsing, but I would go on my walk, I would do push-ups, I would do everything, I would just try to get out of the space. But as soon as I would step back into the space, it's like, what did I do all of that for? I still feel the urge, and it's actually very intense. So, um, yeah, that's my observation with my situation is that if if I can channel the energy in a more creative way instead of just like, okay, just leave the area and just, try not to think about it, go for a jog, go for a hike, push-ups. It's like, how long am I going to like avoid this? It feels like I'm running away from it. And it's not a bad strategy. If it works for you, it works for you. For me, I was running away from it, but then I would have to return because my work is online and the stuff that I do to make money is online. So eventually I would have to return to it. And once I sit down and return to it, the anxiety was still there. And in some cases it would get worse. So that's how I would end up relapsing. So right now, what is working for me is channeling that creative energy, um, recognizing that it is creative energy, and then channeling that into my work. And sometimes I'll get bored of work. I would like to find. I mean, honestly, it is really fun, but I can only do it for so long before I'm like, all right, getting a little exhausted of this. I need to find something else. Um, so I want to explore different hobbies, but for now, my business is really good at keeping me focused. But that is a good point. Uh, Mutual respect, more power behaviors they deserve. I have urges all the time. I know how to endure them, let them pass harmlessly like tide sweep best. Yeah. Hey, again, if it works for you, great. That sounds very peaceful. That sounds very zen. I like that. Remind me of the dangers of the deep. Actually dissuade me from swinging against the riptide. You aren't there yet, but you're hardly a beginner either. You're actually closer to never happen again. From a mass majority of men than you ever been before. All you have to do is close the rest of the gap. Blessings, bro. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you for the encouragement, Mike, and thank you for your advice. I really do appreciate that, especially coming from somebody that has faced all of this and has been, porn free, and is actually practicing celibacy. And I have a lot of respect for that. I come from I mean, I don't know what denomination you are, but I do come from a background non-denominational evangelical churches who have, like, they've been telling me, you know it's kind of mixed because they'll say singleness is a curse. Well, they won't say singleness is a curse, but they'll say everybody should get married. But singleness is not a curse, but everybody should get married. So it is a little bit like, okay, which one is it? You know? So I have a lot of respect. Like when I converted to Catholicism, priests are celibate and nuns are celibate, and they voluntarily choose to do so because they're living a more spiritual life, and they're treating the church as their, as basically their family. You know, because they're not able to have a physical family, so they are going to trade that. I guess I shouldn't say trade. They're going to pursue a spiritual family instead of a physical family, and so I have a lot of respect for people like that. Personally, I don't feel like I'm called for that because I have such like I truly do have a burning desire for a family, for a physical family, to be married, to have a lot of kids. I want to have a ton of kids. 10 plus. Well, it used to be 5 minimum, but now I think I'm pushing it up to 10 minimum. But that takes a very special kind of girl. But yeah, I have a lot of respect for people that are celibate, and you know, that's something I'm exploring. Not so well. I would. I guess the word for a broader term for that is chastity, which is celibacy, but celibacy is a little bit different from chastity. So I'm trying to practice being more chaste, but I have a lot of respect. Yeah, Mike, always good to hear from you. Everybody else, I'd love to hear from you too. But that's it for today. Thank you all for watching. I hope to hear from all of you how the rest of you guys have been. I don't really have a question. I haven't prepared for this. Again, I literally was just about to go to bed, woke up, and I realized I needed to do this video. I got to get back into the structure again. This is part of the creative energies, right? Especially since I'm going to be doing this long term, I got to start making this a little bit more modern. Like, who talks in front of their camera and then just uploads it? No background music, no edits. You know, I think this would be a good way to exercise some of my creative energy as well. So, yeah, I'm gonna start brainstorming whenever I get the chance. But other than that, I hope I hear from all of you guys. I hope all of your NoFap journeys are going great. God bless all of you. And I forgot what my outro was. I haven't done. I should go back and watch my old videos and see like what I said at the end. I know like in the beginning I say what's up everybody, or say something like that, right? But at the end I totally forgot how my outro went, or if I even had one. All I know is I cover the camera with my hand. That's it. That's it. So, that's all I got for you today. Peace.